Today we're going to go back to the very beginning. Howdy everyone. This video, along with videos we've been making, you probably have noticed that we've been covering a lot of sort of basic or baseline information, and this video is going to be no different, so just keep that in mind. In this video, we're going to be covering how to set exposure manually and what each setting there means. So let's go take a look and take a dive into that. So if you're ready to take your photography more seriously and you want to get better at it, it's important now to turn off that automatic setting to the manual setting and learn what each one does so that you can truly operate your camera and have it do exactly what you need it to. When you switch your camera to the manual mode, you're going to see a lot of different options and settings. We're going to be going over what we here refer to as the holy trinity of photography and exposure. And that's going to be your aperture, shutter speed, as well as your ISO or sensitivity to light. Each of these settings are going to affect exposure differently, and to understand how it works, we're going to give a basic explanation of how digital cameras really work. We capture the light through the lens, which forms an image. The shutter opens and exposes the sensor to the light for a certain amount of time. Using this, our camera then produces the resulting image. Once you have a base idea of how a digital camera actually takes a photograph, we can then start expanding into different settings. Aperture, which is this number with an F in front of it, is a lens setting and not an actual camera setting. We can think of it as the eye's pupil. Now, it's merely a mechanical part of the lens that opens and closes. Depending on how open it is, it's going to control how much light is exposed directly onto the sensor. The lower the F number, the more the aperture opens and the brighter the photo will be. On the other hand, the higher the F number, the more closed the aperture is going to be and the darker the photo is going to be. A lens minimum aperture is an important factor to consider when choosing a lens because it's going to tell us how much the aperture can actually open, and therefore the minimum amount of light it's going to allow onto the sensor. Now, exposure is not the only thing that's also going to be affected by our aperture. Our aperture setting is going to also directly correlate with our depth of field. Now, depth of field, or the range within a photo where the objects are acceptably sharp and in focus, is going to increase as the aperture increases. So, when we set a low aperture, like f2.8, we can see that the object we're focusing on is nice, sharp, and in focus, but anything in front or behind the focusing distance is not in focus at all or not sharp. When we increase the aperture to, say, f stop 4, we see that the objects in the background are slightly sharper. And if we continue to increase the aperture, we can see the depth of field gradually increase. All right, now a shallow depth of field is going to be great for taking portraits, or if you're photographing products and you just want to have like a nice background but have the attention purely on your subject matter, and vice versa. A high depth of field or large depth of field is going to be great when we're photographing, for example, giant open spaces, landscapes, etc., as we want to capture as much of what's in our lens as possible. That's it for aperture. Now we're going to cover what shutter speed does. Shutter speed determines how long it takes for the shutter to open, letting light through the lens onto the sensor. And the number is going to tell us how long the shutter is actually open for. For example, 1/100th means the shutter is open for 1/100th of a second. The longer the shutter is open, the more light hits the sensor, and therefore the brighter the photo is going to be. It also means that objects that are moving are going to become much more blurry as time goes on. Now let's demonstrate this. I have this pocket watch here that I'm going to use as a pendulum. I'm going to swing it in front of the lens and shoot. If we use a fast shutter speed, like 1/1000th, the watch freezes in time and is pin sharp. But if we prolong the shutter speed to, say, 1/50th, the watch is going to be slightly blurry. And if I set it to 1 second, then all that's left is a kind of a weird blur. Now, the last exposure setting we're going to cover is our ISO, which is our sensitivity to light. And it lets our sensor know how sensitive it should be to the light that we have currently. As our ISO grows, our exposure increases, but so does the digital noise that appears in our photo. So while these photos are brighter, they're going to lose image quality and clarity. Generally, we're going to want to keep our ISO settings as low as possible to avoid any kind of extra noise we might accumulate. So that's it for the holy trinity of exposure. I hope that was useful in some way. Again, We're always looking forward and want to hear your guys' comments, so let us know what you think in the description below, as we do read them and we do listen to what you guys have to say. Again, hope this video was useful. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next theoretical video where we'll cover another theme in depth. Until then, have a good one and see you next time.